chosen one. They are about to contact you because they finally realized they believed lies about you and now want to repair the damage they caused. Right now, someone is thinking about you. It makes them sick. Today is the day silence breaks. A message, a call, a confession arrives. They understand what must be corrected. Truth is cutting through deception they once defended. Let me break down these three swords, because understanding them unlocks everything. The first sword was doubt that someone planted deliberately. Someone whispered that you weren't who you appeared to be. They reframed your kindness as manipulation. Your independence looked like coldness through their twisted lens. Your boundaries became rejection in their narrative. They twisted every strength you possess into a threat. The manipulator called your focus on this connection promiscuity. They labeled your transparent intentions as hidden motives. Your need for personal space became their evidence of dishonesty. They transformed your healthy independence into game playing. Every time you honored yourself, the manipulator turned it into proof that you couldn't be trusted. The second sword was shame that someone designed to make this person feel foolish for wanting you. They questioned the attraction as poor judgment. If your backgrounds differ, they magnified that difference into incompatibility. If your spiritual paths diverge, they made your awakening look like delusion. The narrative suggested that having feelings for you was weakness. They turned attraction into evidence of being easily fooled rather than soul recognition. The very intuition that led them toward you got attacked until questioning themselves felt safer than trusting what they knew. The third sword was financial manipulation that someone calculated with precision. They convinced this person that choosing you meant blocking prosperity. They painted your presence as career destruction. The connection became synonymous with poverty in their carefully crafted story. Success and your love couldn't coexist in the false reality they built. You represented distraction from greatness when truth showed you as the catalyst for their next level. They ignored your own resources while lies claimed you wanted theirs. Stories of you draining others erased your history of pouring into people. They manufactured fear around provision as if love and success were opposing forces. Now understand something crucial. Those swords that were aimed at one heart were really aimed at two. When someone you care about turns cold without explanation, the wounds cut deep. When someone believes lies without asking, your side self-doubt creeps in. When fear wins over the connection, you both felt scars form that take time to heal. But chosen one, while those wounds were healing, something extraordinary happened. Your ancestors went to work. Your guide started moving. Your higher self orchestrated a transformation that required this person's absence. You couldn't become who you're meant to be while trying to convince someone of your worth. You needed space to remember that your value isn't up for debate. Someone around them practiced dark spiritual work against you. Not light magic, binding magic, blocking magic. They burned candles with your name attached to intentions that had nothing to do with your highest good. They worked roots to make you appear unstable. They performed rituals to paint you as spiritually dangerous. This wasn't random jealousy. This was calculated spiritual warfare. The manipulator understood energy and manifestation principles. They had knowledge, but they didn't have wisdom about consequences. The manipulator positioned themselves as a trusted advisor speaking wisdom. Concern masked their face while venom filled their heart. They used phrases designed to sound caring while planting poison seeds. Something feels off about this person. Information came to light that you should know. Timing was everything. They exploited vulnerable moments when resistance ran at its lowest. But protection surrounds you in ways the manipulator never accounted for. Medicine flows through your bloodline. Your ancestors blocked attacks before you even knew danger was approaching. Every hex they sent in your direction bounced back to sender multiplied. Every lie they told about you became a boomerang heading straight back to the source. Every attempt to dim your light only made you shine brighter through contrast. This manipulator holds a close connection to the person who walked away from you. Family ties or deep friendship created their access and trust. They couldn't tolerate the growing feelings this person had for you, so they began eliminating the threat. You represented competition and the exposure of toxicity by simple comparison. You would help this person grow beyond the manipulator's reach. They told strategic lies mixed with just enough truth to seem credible. They twisted your words. They transformed your strength into weakness. This manipulator had been feeding off this person's energy for a long time, using them, controlling them. Your presence threatened the entire dynamic established over years. You weren't interested in control. You were offering genuine partnership, authentic connection. That truth would have exposed everything happening in darkness, so they tried to eliminate the threat. What they actually set in motion was their own downfall. Because when you attack someone protected by the universe, you face consequences that transcend physical reality. Commitment issues run deep in the person who walked away from you, not because something is fundamentally wrong with them, but because healthy love was never modeled for them. Every relationship they witnessed was transactional. Every person they loved proved temporary. So when you showed up offering something real, something unconditional, something that required vulnerability, their entire system triggered into panic mode. Situationships have filled their entire relationship history. Connections with no labels, encounters with no emotional investment. Nobody can hurt you if you never fully let them in. Nobody can leave you if you never fully arrive. Nobody can reject the real you if the real you never gets shown. Then you arrived refusing to play games. No performance. No interest in half-truths and surface connections. You showed up as yourself, flaws included, wounds visible, magic undeniable. That authenticity triggered everything in them that remains unhealed. Authentic people reveal inauthentic patterns just by existing. Your presence became a mirror. What they saw reflected back created terror in them. So when lies about you started circulating, part of them wanted those lies to be true. Not because evidence supported the accusations, but because believing the lies gave them permission to run from what scared them. Justification arrived that didn't require them to face their own fear. "I'm protecting myself from someone dangerous" sounded better than admitting, "I'm running from someone real because real terrifies me." Fear makes cowards of people who could be brave. Fear makes liars of people who could be honest. Fear makes runners of people who could stand and fight for something worth having. This person ran fast and far while convincing themselves the choice was right. Smart even, self-protective and wise. What they didn't realize then but understand now is that running from love creates the most dangerous situation possible. Love doesn't chase. Love doesn't beg. Love doesn't diminish itself to make someone comfortable. Love stands in truth and allows you to choose it or not. When you run from love, you don't create escape. You guarantee spending your life wondering what could have been if bravery had won over fear. While they stayed away, you descended into your own underworld. Down there, you met every demon you'd been avoiding, every wound you'd been ignoring, every pattern you'd been repeating. Instead of running, you sat down and faced them all. You cried tears that cleansed generations of pain. You screamed screams that released decades of suppression. You felt feelings that had been labeled as too much, too intense, too overwhelming. Discovery came that you could hold all that emotion without breaking. Your strength exceeded what you'd been told. Your resilience surpassed what you believed. Your power existed beyond what anyone expected. In that darkness, you excavated buried parts of yourself. The part that knows without needing proof. The part that trusts despite evidence suggesting otherwise. The part that loves without requiring reciprocation. Your authentic self emerged from underneath layers of conditioning. Raw and real and radiant. You set boundaries that made people uncomfortable. No became your default answer when yes didn't serve you. You ended the performance for approval. Shrinking to fit spaces too small for your spirit became impossible. The most powerful shift transformed how you valued yourself. External validation lost its appeal. You stopped checking to see if they were watching your life. Living for you began. Your entire energy frequency transformed completely. People who knew you before barely recognize you now. Not because you became someone different, because you became more yourself. The masks fell away. The performance ended. The authentic you stepped forward without apology. From a distance, someone was watching. Maybe through mutual connections, maybe through the energetic threads that connect souls across distance. What they witnessed shook their foundation. Instead of the devastation they expected, you became more radiant in their absence than you ever were in their presence. You stepped into your power. You created beauty from pain. You transformed suffering into strength. Everything they thought would break you became fuel that made you unbreakable. That transformation cracked something open in them. They began wondering if they had made the biggest mistake of their life. Watching someone you walked away from thrive without you creates a special kind of torture. You weren't necessary. You weren't irreplaceable. You were actually the one who was limiting what could have been. They started comparing everyone they met after you. Everyone fell short. The depth you offered couldn't be found elsewhere. The ease of connection couldn't be replicated. The way you made them feel seen proved impossible to find again. The manipulator is unraveling fast. Their health deteriorates. Their relationships fall apart. Their money dries up. Their peace vanishes. Every area where they created chaos for others is now becoming chaotic for them. Karma isn't interested in apologies. Balance is the only concern. The person who left you starts noticing inconsistencies that are impossible to ignore. The manipulator's story develops holes. Things that seemed plausible before now seem suspicious. Other people come forward with their own stories about being lied to by this same person. The mask slips. The act fails. Truth emerges whether the liar wants it or not. Evidence gets revealed showing the accusations were fabricated. The screenshots were doctored. The situations were misrepresented completely. The entire narrative was constructed from manipulation, assumption, and outright lies. Bit by bit, that construction crumbles into dust. Cognitive dissonance breaks them down. What they were told can't be reconciled with what they witness about you now. Realization comes that they didn't just believe lies. They participated in spreading them by walking away without verification. Memories return of how you actually treated them, with respect, with honesty, with genuine care. Moments of authentic connection that couldn't have been manufactured come back into focus. The worst realization hits them the hardest. You're probably not even thinking about them anymore. While they've been obsessing over their mistake, you've been busy building a life that doesn't include them. Their absence didn't destroy you, it freed you. Your life flourishing becomes visible to them. Your career is advancing. Your creativity is flowing. Your energy is glowing. Your peace is evident. They know they could have been part of that. They know they should have been part of that. Right now, this person is physically sick. Not with a virus, not with a disease, but with the toxicity of guilt and regret and realization. Their stomach stays in knots. Sleep comes incompletely. They wake up in the middle of the night with your face in their mind and no idea how to fix what they broke. A purge is happening within them. Everything inauthentic is getting pushed out. Dreams that this person can't explain keep coming to them. They wake up with tears and don't understand why. They feel pulled toward you in ways that defy logic. Their ancestors are waking them up now, not to punish them, but to redirect them, because their healing path runs through acknowledging what they did. They're in therapy now, real therapy, the kind where you have to look at your own patterns, your own wounds, your own responsibility. They're learning about attachment styles and realizing they have avoidant patterns, childhood wounds they didn't know were still affecting their present. Parental rejection, abandonment, being taught that vulnerability equals weakness. All of it created someone who can't handle genuine connection even while desperately wanting it. You represented the deep water to them, the place where their feet couldn't touch the bottom, where trust in themselves to stay afloat becomes necessary, where vulnerability and exposure and being fully alive all exist simultaneously. That terrified them, so they ran back to the shallow end, where standing was possible, where control existed, where safety felt guaranteed. But the shallow end is boring to them now, and lonely, and unfulfilling. They spent their entire life in the shallow end, afraid of drowning in deep water. But the shallow end isn't where life happens. It's where you stand still watching other people swim, and they're tired of watching. They're tired of settling for safe. They're tired of running from what their soul knows it needs. You represented the deep water to them, the place where their feet couldn't touch the bottom, where trust in themselves to stay afloat becomes necessary, where vulnerability and exposure and being fully alive all exist simultaneously. That terrified them, so they ran back to the shallow end, where standing was possible, where control existed, where safety felt guaranteed. But the shallow end is boring to them now, and lonely, and unfulfilling. They spent their entire life in the shallow end, afraid of drowning in deep water. But the shallow end isn't where life happens. It's where you stand still watching other people swim. Contact is coming. Not because you need it, not because you asked for it, because truth always surfaces eventually. And the truth is this: they believed lies about you. They walked away based on those lies. They've been suffering ever since, and now they want to fix what they did. The message will come when you least expect it. Maybe a text that starts with, "I've been thinking about you." Maybe a call with long pauses and heavy breathing. Maybe a letter that took them weeks to write. The words will be clumsy because there are no perfect words for "I was wrong about you and I know it now." They'll apologize. Maybe not perfectly, but sincerely. They'll explain what happened, the manipulation they fell for, the lies they believed, the fear that drove them away. They'll ask if there's any chance to repair what was broken. What you do with that contact is entirely your choice. Your ancestors will support whatever decision comes from your truth rather than your trauma, as long as it honors your growth without abandoning the lessons you've learned, as long as it protects your peace while remaining open to possibility. You don't owe them anything, but you also don't have to close doors that could lead somewhere beautiful. Discernment will guide you. Intuition will speak. Your higher self already knows what serves your greatest good. Chosen one, you survived. You transformed. You became someone they can no longer ignore. And now they're coming back. Not because you begged, because you became undeniable. Not because you chased, because you became magnetic. Not because you proved yourself, because you became yourself. And that self is exactly who they needed all along. They just weren't ready to receive you. Now they are, or at least they think they are. Time will tell if they've truly changed. But one thing is certain you have, and that changes everything.